Okay, guys, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Oh goodness, look at my hair. It's like a total disaster. Total disaster. Oh, looks like I've been doing something that I wasn't doing. I was just sleeping hard. I went to bed listening to a 2-hour meditation last night, and I fell asleep listening to this meditation on manifestation, of course, because that's what I do. I listen to meditations on manifestation because you can't be a conscious manifester unless you're really truly paying attention to what you're consciously manifesting or subconsciously manifesting, one of the two. Anyway, I'm like one sip of coffee in, just woke up, went to bed relatively early last night, and just was just out. I think I actually heard the 2-hour meditation, maybe 45 seconds of it, which is, I don't think it really matters since it was a sleep meditation on manifesting. I just have no idea what the heck got programmed into my head, which then made me wake up this morning, and I woke up in a good space. I mean, I woke up and I felt positive, and for the most part, pretty good positive energy, and a little bit all the tension that I've just been carrying right here. It's for the most part gone. I have a structural integration session in a little bit, which I am looking so forward to. If you've ever had structural integration, you'll understand that structural integration work is amazing. So that's what I'm off to go do after conscious coffee, after my little munchkin gets here, because my youngest child should be arriving sometime this morning. But as I was laying in bed and I was stretching and I was doing my gratitudes and I was thinking about just what I was thinking about, and I was laying there and I just started thinking about, I was analyzing, excuse me, I think I'm got a touch of a bug because I've been blowing and going so much. I was laying there and I was analyzing the things that I see, number one, my clients going through, number two, my friends or family going through, and number three, what I'm either going through or what I have been through. And so I am a patterns person. I look for cycles, I look for patterns, I pay attention to those. We are creatures of habit, whether we want to admit it or not. We are creatures of habit. We come back to our patterns. And I was laying in bed and I was just thinking about these different things, and I was looking for actually patterns inside myself is what I was analyzing, and it made me think about some stuff that's currently going on in my life. And then I was looking back at my patterns and the realization of like what I might draw in and how I present myself and all this different stuff, which then led me over here to talk about it, of course, right? I've got to get rid of the shirt. Which led me over here to tell you guys about it, because as I'm learning, as I have these awarenesses, I might as well bring them up front, get them out, be real, be authentic, and that's what we want, right? Real, authentic, and to also share so that you can perhaps see that stuff in your life and make the subtle changes that need to happen so that you can go and live that fuck yes life, so that you can manifest the stuff that you want into your life and really call in the blessings that you deserve and that you want. And that's how we do it, is we have to first of all bring our attention to those shadow spots that are uncomfortable. They're very, very uncomfortable to feel into. So we want to do what? Like the title of my conscious coffee here, hiding, revealing, sex, and weaving. What does weaving have to do? Well, weaving is the tantric portion of this. We are tantric by nature. And the foundation of all my coaching is a tantric practice. And I teach how the gist of tantric practice here is not about the bedroom. It's not about the sex. It is about the understanding, the true understanding that all of our life is woven together. Everything that we do affects every other portion of our life. Every piece, like when we make a decision in the bedroom, it affects our work. When we make a decision at work, it affects our home life. It affects our physical life. It affects our sexual life. It affects our dating life. Whatever you got going on, realize that it's all interwoven, okay? So if you got shit happening in one department, you're going to have shit happening in another department. And it does have a ripple out effect and affects everything else. Now, that's the weaving part. Personal weaving part is that everything comes together. Everything's woven together. It's all one great big spider web, you could say, interlinked together. And when a little flicker happens over here, it does vibrate throughout the whole spider web, okay? That tantric weaving is also affects, and here's where the hiding, the revealing, and the sex comes in. In Tantra, what we learn is that if I'm in a bad mood, if I'm in a bad space, if I got shit going on in my world, and then I come to my lover, and I open up to my lover, or I go to have sex with my lover, and I'm doing it to get into a better space. I'm doing it to feel connection. I'm doing it to fill a void. I'm doing it for all these reasons, right? And some of them, like, I want to feel connection. I want to feel love. I want to give love. Those are all really great things. But the caveat here is that if I am full of anger, if I am full of depression, if I am full of uncertainty, if I am not complete within self, if I've been hiding aspects of self, or if I've got a void inside myself, guess what? We actually penetrate each other energetically with these emotions, with these underlying currents. Let me share a story with you, because this is how this conscious coffee came about. Right after I drank some coffee, because it was just, I can't believe I know that there's articles out there on this subject. I mean, I know that all the great teachers have written books, and this is in books and everything, but I kind of think it's my duty to bring a Cliff Notes verbal version of this to you, because I did the books, I've been to the classes, I put myself through all this shit through the years, and I've experienced it, and I've been made consciously aware of it, where I think that the majority of the time we are not conscious, and we don't know what we don't know. Even if we're experiencing it, we still don't realize it, because we're not conscious of it. We don't understand the connections. So here's what happened this morning. I'm laying in bed, and I was thinking about things, and I was noticing something inside myself, and then I was noticing something in my life right now. And I was like, oh wow, look, that's kind of interwoven here, and that's this. And I was looking at the weave, right? I was looking at the weave, and I was like, okay, there's this. And then I have a couple things coming up that I was like, should I go do this? Should I go do that? And I was looking at the energetic vibrations that would cause in my life if I chose to go and do certain things. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of a no to this, and I'm kind of a yes to that, and I need to not be a kinda, I need to be a fuck yes or a fuck no. I just make my mind up. And I was realizing that I'm probably just a fuck no to both of them, even though I'm wanting to be a fuck yes to one. But as I was thinking about that, what then came in was emotion, and I've had a whole bunch of triggers in multiple different ways over the course of the last 4 days from different people, like things that were said, different touches, different things, and I'm noticing the triggers. And the beautiful thing, triggers are a bitch. They're a real bitch, because they bring us back to this feeling of the past. They trigger something from the past, so they get us to kind of clamp up and jolt and shut down and experience this past emotion, and there might not be any real reason for it in the moment, but we still have this reaction, okay? And that's what makes a trigger's a total bitch. There is beauty in the trigger if you slow down and pause and go, let me analyze this a little bit. Let me look at it. What am I actually being triggered on? Oh, look, here is the wound. The wound is back here. So I was laying in bed, and I was thinking about some of the triggers that I've experienced over the last few days. And I looked back, and I realized that some of the stuff that I'm experiencing is this cycle that I tend to end up in, and the noticing of it. And then I was also experiencing, like, some of the stuff that I'm feeling inside of myself is not of me. It doesn't feel like me. It's a place in me that I go, whoa, what the hell is this? Like, it does not feel like me. I don't think like this. I don't feel like this. I don't act like this. I don't. It's so foreign, okay? It's so foreign. And then I thought back to my first marriage. and I was married for like 20 years, and we have 5 kids together. And I used to have sex with him just because I was his wife, right? I was his wife. That was my duty, was to have sex with my husband. And I know you might not believe that coming out of my mouth, but that was me back then, okay? That was me back then. So I would have sex with him as a duty, as his wife. It was what women are supposed to do. So I had sex with him. Well, my first husband definitely is like bipolar as shit. He can have, and if he watches this, he's going to be like, really, Kendall, really? But it's true. He's bipolar, and I love him to death, but he will be like really turned on, and I mean turned on like happy, like ignited and da 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 da, and the sweetest of guys, and just like you like him, and he's smart and all this stuff, and then he will flip and go the opposite direction, and he will get completely into his ego. And once he's in his ego, he's in this nasty, just depressed state, and it's like really, really depressed, and he'll spiral down into this depression, and it's just nasty as fuck. Total turn off, nasty as fuck. And what I noticed is that he always wanted to have sex when he was really depressed, or if he was angry about something. But for him, the depression, that sadness, because he always had issue with like this void inside of himself, that he was not able to, he was trying to fill this hole, and he wanted me to fill the hole, and he wanted this to fill the hole, and he wanted this to fill the hole, and he wanted this to fill the hole. And it was all, I mean, now, you know, all these years later, a decade later, I look at it and I go, holy fuck, he just needs to forgive himself. He needs to forgive himself for everything. He needs to love himself, because no amount of love coming from somebody else is ever going to fill that hole unless you love yourself. And I mean, and I've learned that one the hard way, that, you know, the more I see a lot of love in my life, and some days I can be empty feeling. I can have this my version of empty. And no amount of love coming at me is making me, I'm like, oh, that's sweet, that's nice, but it's not really fulfilling me. And it's not fulfilling me because I haven't given myself to love. But as soon as I slow the fuck down, and I apply love, and I apply forgiveness, and I step into my worthiness, guess what? Now I can feel everybody else's love. But you're never going to feel somebody else's love if you're not actually opening up to love yourself, to feed yourself. You must feed yourself first what you are so desperately looking for to come from others, or else you're never going to be able to feel it from somebody else. It's just a fucking simple truth, okay? It just is. So back to my ex-husband. So this is what he had. He had this void, right? So he would have that. So then we would end up having sex. And here's the sexual portion of my little talk here. So we would have sex. I would be in a fine space, except I would feel like I should give him sex, right? I'm his wife. I should give him sex. And he'll feel better if I give him sex. I was young and dumb and stupid and everything else. So there we were. We would have sex. I wasn't into it. I didn't really want it. So it was basically like a rag doll, right? Just whatever. Fuck me and move on. And that was kind of how I acted about it. It was like, let's get it over with. So I'd have a couple drinks, and we would have sex, and then he would, of course, ejaculate, and then the next morning I would wake up and I would have like a really negative day, or 2 days or 3 days. I would be really, really depressed, really, really depressed. And I would just, those were the days that, if I look back, I probably reacted in some very negative, charged ways. And I was like, everybody thought that was an emotional roller coaster. And I look back and I'm like, actually, I don't think there was me growing up and me figuring out myself and me learning to love myself and step into my worthiness. And then there was the sex that I was having with a man that was an emotional roller coaster. And I've noticed that when I, you know, coming through different relationships, like move into my second serious relationship that I have 2 children with. Now, he's a very angry man. He's a very, very angry man, of which I did not know. Now, granted, on the front side with my ex-husband, I didn't know that he was this emotional roller coaster, okay? I thought he was playful. I thought that he was, you know, like into just a dreamer and an optimist and all this different stuff. And I was like, that's really, really cool. So I didn't realize about the emotional roller coaster. He kept that hidden well enough until we really got connected and committed. Then I moved into my second serious relationship, had 2 kids. Again, this man presented himself as strong, as stable. Yes, he wasn't the emotional roller coaster, so he didn't appear. He wasn't depressed, so he didn't appear. But once again, he was kind of hiding things underneath the surface. My noticing there, as I was laying in bed, I was thinking about my sex with him. And I came to the realization of like, I spent a lot of time being angry in my relationship, an underlying current of anger there and frustration. And it would always happen that, guess when he wanted to have sex? When he was having a really bad day at work. He was having a really bad day at work. He wanted to quit his job. He wanted to do this. He wanted to do that. He was frustrated, money, tension, the kids getting to him, the this, the that, whatever. Something was, and he was pissed. He was really, 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 really angry. Okay. And since he was really, really angry, what I noticed in that was that, guess what? The next day, day 2, 3 days later, I would end up in this angry mood. Now with him, I brought it to his attention. I was like, I think that you are injecting me with your emotions of the moment. Now I didn't do it first thing in the next day, because if he's that angry, well, then I don't want to really get into a fight over something. But it was a noticing. Tantra teaches us that we do this with each other, okay? And now I am speaking about a man, like men in my life, and having bear sex with them and being actually energetically injected with hold on, my phone is doing something here. All right, hopefully that doesn't affect. If for some reason this live goes bloop, I'm gonna come back on, just so you know. But what really was happening was that like Tantra teaches, is that we were having this energetic connection, and he was injecting me with the emotion that he was having. So the gist of this, because I don't know what the fuck's going on with my phone, and I'm kind of nervous that my phone's going to die here, so I'm going to get to my point. I've gotten to my point anyways. Number 1, stop your fucking hiding on the friend side. Like, yes, we all hide, we all kind of mask and cover up, but if you want an authentic relationship, just be authentic on the front side. Like, try to be who you are. And this is the thing. If you are showing up one way when you are out in public, one way when you are on a date, one way when you are interacting with people, and you get home and you're yelling at your kids and you're cussing and you're throwing shit and your house is a disaster, but you're out there and you're talking about this, well, guess what? That's not authentic relating. And your energy is going to be disturbed because of it, because you cannot hide enough. You cannot mask enough to cover that shit up. You can do it for a little bit. Life's going to test you. And when life tests you, guess what? The masks fall down. And who you really are is going to be there. And who you really are just needs to come out. You just need to love that person and really step into that person and let that person heal and grow and be felt and be seen, and stop trying to act as though, I can't be this, because the people who are going to love you are going to love you for who you are, even when you're having a bad day, okay? Even when you're having a bad day. But with that said, the people are going to love you even when you're having a bad day. But sometimes we can't in those spaces feel the love that's coming to us, because what? Sometimes other people have to do things to protect themselves. Much like I've learned in those relationships. Like, I look back at my first husband and my second relationship, and there were moments when I should have stepped away for a moment. I should have paused for a moment, because what ended up happening was I ended up in negative spirals for weeks or months because of it, because I kept injecting myself. And I kept injecting myself with the negative charged energy that was coming from my partner. And that was a decision that I made. I allowed it into my life. I allowed it into my body. I allowed that connection to happen because I didn't consciously pick up on it. So if you are in a relationship where your partner is going through whatever they're going through, maybe they are, and this goes back the other way. Ladies, this does not get us off the hook and say that we can, like, if we're an emotional basket case, if we're hormonal, if we're really like going through our shit, realize that you're blessing your man with that too. Our energy goes to them too. It's not just our male partner injecting us with energy. it is us injecting them as well. It is a two-way energetic street, okay? With us, it's more like we kind of like flood the poor guy with it, and we just like really wrap him up in it, and then we want him to fix that shit when we need to fix it for ourselves. Just like he needs to fix it for himself, we need to fix it for ourselves. When those moments happen, it really is the best thing to do is just treat yourselves like 2, 3-year-olds. And this is what I've learned to do. I treat myself like a 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old, and I put myself on timeout. I put myself on timeout, and I put whoever else on timeout as well, because that space has to happen. The space has to be there to energetically clear between the two of you. That is, take responsibility for your own fucking energy in those moments. Take that responsibility and really, truly heal it. Work on it. Become complete in it. And then come back together from a point of strength, not from a point of weakness. Because guess what? Misery loves company, right? Misery loves company. Realize that if misery loves company, then if one person is in misery, that other person is going to energetically create misery in the other person's life, feed off of the higher energy. So if you go and you do your work and you're strong and you're energetically like, oh yes, I can go in. No. Don't do that until your partner is at a space that they have come back to at least ground zero, preferably a few notches above, so that they are strong enough too. You do not want to meet in these weak spots, because one weak person cannot support another weak person. 2 drowning people are both going to drown, okay? Nobody's going to save the other in this scenario. You will not save each other if you're both drowning. So realize that in those times, the best thing you can do is separate, put yourself on time out, and go and heal your shit and get that energy back up to where it needs to be, and then look for the other person to get their energy back up to where they need to be, and come together in unity in that. Make love in a higher threshold of energy. Make love in a loving state, not in an angry, not in a depressed, not in a needy, not in, any sort of, if you feel a victim, if you feel ego coming out of you. Here's the thing about ego, because victim is ego, and all these other, if you're feeling needy, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling separation, guess what? That's all your fucking ego. It's all the ego, because it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. And if that's what you're feeling, your ego's going to tell you, no, that's not the truth. Don't listen to her over there. She doesn't know what she's talking about. That's not the ego. You really truly need to do this. You really truly need, this is truth. This is reality. No, it's not. Turn internal. Love yourself. Forgive yourself. Take off the masks. Look at yourself in the mirror. Can you look yourself in the eye in the mirror? Can you tell yourself, I love you, to yourself? Or are you so desperate that you need to hear it from somebody else and then just don't feel it? Well, if you can't tell it to yourself, if you can't feel love to yourself, from yourself, then, like I said at the beginning of this, you're never going to feel it from somebody else. That void is for you to fill up, not for anybody else to fill up. It's a tough, tough lesson. It's something that none of us want to hear. I certainly don't want to hear it come out of my mouth, because I'm guilty of having a void and wanting people to fill it up here and there too. The difference is that I'm conscious of my void and I know what I need to do. Hopefully you are now conscious of your void, and you now kind of have an idea as to what to do, which is love yourself. Love yourself. Realize that we do intermingle our energies. We do connect with other people, positive and negative. And it's really, really important to bring our consciousness to where we are vibrating, and realize that the shit that is going on in our world is there because of where we're vibrating, okay? If it's good shit coming into your life, you did it. If it's really bad stuff coming into your life, you did it. If it's meh stuff coming into your life, guess what? You did it. If it is trauma and drama and your world is crashing in on you, guess what? You did it. It's not Billy Bob down the street. It's not your mom. It's not your dad. It's not your sister. It's not your best friend. It's not your lover. It's not your kids. It's not your dog or your cat or your birds. It's none of those. None of those did it. It's not your career choice. It is not the economy. It is not any of that. It is not any of that. It is where you are at. The void that you're feeling is there because it's there for you to fill. So go fill your void. Realize that you do have a ripple effect to everybody else. We all ripple out to everybody else. And it is really, really important to, at sometimes, retract your energy. do your own healing work. Fill yourself so that you can come strong to any relationship in your life, especially the one with yourself, but with any of the people that you truly love. Okay, guys, let me see. I see some comments on here. Addison, good morning, everybody, by the way. Morning, 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 morning. Oh my goodness, there's a whole bunch of people that came on. Morning, Addison, Steve, Art, Jillian, Michael, Dan, Tom, Ashley. Wow. Hey, guys. Frank and Jack. Candy, yeah. What is this? Yeah, that question does not pertain to this talk, so I'm just not even going to read it, okay? I'm sorry. Thank you, Addison, for answering that for me. Yeah, you can send me a personal message, although guess what? I'm not going to answer that question because that's my personal business, not for a live. If anybody's read the question down here, you'll understand. Otherwise, you don't need to know what the question was. Okay. Yes, and you're welcome, Addison. You're welcome. Okay, so just so anybody who's watching, who knows, good morning, Olivia, too. So anybody who is watching, as I end this live, number one, if you're just coming on, go back and watch the replay, because I think I hit some really good points on this. I feel very like about things. So a couple things. I have Not Your Average Joe class, which is a Tantric men's class, which is a live training here on Facebook for any of you guys out there who want to really, really learn how to connect with your partners. So that is coming up. I'm going to be teaching that class live on Saturday. There is a registration on my website. I believe, Addison, if I can get you to post the link to that, I would really appreciate it. That is on my website at www.kendallwilliams.com underneath programs. But Addison is also kind enough to post the link right now in the comments section as well. So that is posted. If, gentlemen, you are interested in learning how to tantrically connect with your woman, how to tantric skills and exercises, this is definitely the class for you. The other one that I would like to share with you that I've had a few people come in on this live training. It is all recorded live training, is my his, hers, and ours class. And that one is going to give you a whole bunch of the stuff. Like really a lot of the stuff, like I said, Tantra is about connection, is about learning how everything is woven together. And that's what I try to teach in my sexuality and relating workshops and classes, is the true basis of Tantra. Unlike a lot of things that get taught out there about positions and about lasting for 1,000 hours and about holding, you know, like not ejaculating guys and not doing this and not doing that. That's all great and fine and dandy. And yeah, sure, you can last a lifetime and you don't have to ejaculate, and there's ways of doing it. You can have full body orgasms and all that kind of stuff. And Not Your Average Joe covers those topics. But, and so does his, hers, and ours covers those topics as well to a part. But true Tantra is about weaving our energy together and seeing how all of our energy takes a role, plays a part in our entire life. And when we are talking about the bedroom, our energy, it really does interact with our partner. How we are showing up consciously and unconsciously plays a role in our relationship and in our life. So Not Your Average Joe is going to teach you how to tantrically, I can't talk this morning, although I did a lot of talking, huh? It teaches you how to tantrically connect to your female partner and the things that you can do to really heighten her pleasure, connect with her deeper, penetrate not just her body, but penetrate her mind and her heart as well, and to really get in there. It teaches you basic and not so basic skill sets for everything from tantric massage and tantric orgasm to tantric love making, which is not of the physical nature. Can be, but is not of the physical nature. It is of the emotional, mental, and spiritual nature, and how that is all interwoven together, because we are whole being people, okay? Everything. We are not just a mind, we are not just a heart, we are not just a spirit, we are not just a physical body. It is all about integrating everything together and fully embodying the self, which guess what? Guess what? When we fully embody ourselves, this little void that so many of us feel and that we're trying to heal in this lifetime, or we're trying to connect and work through, it gets a hell of a lot fuller when we actually embody ourselves. So here's to embodiment. Go enjoy your morning coffee. like I am. I'm off to a structural integration session. And a whole bunch of other cool shit for today. So I will catch you guys either tomorrow afternoon, but if for some reason I don't make it on here, it will be Friday late morning, probably like at 9:30 or so, that I will be doing Conscious Coffee for sure on Friday morning around 9:30. And otherwise, you can follow me at www.kendallwilliams.com. You can follow me on my coaching page here, or you can just follow me right here where you're at. I don't really care. Get on my newsletter where you can get all the announcements too. Make sure to go to my website, check out all the articles, all the videos on YouTube, all the programs that I have, and all that cool shit. If you want to connect with me one-on-one, you want one-on-one coaching, you want to learn about more that I have, ask me a question, just pop me a message right here on Facebook. Okay, guys, as always, stop existing, start living, and I will see you on the next Conscious Coffee. Bye, guys.